Well, in the first place, you're wrong. The Colonel didn't have a problem with Elvis going out of the country. We were, in fact, planning after that tour was over that never happened because Elvis passed away. There were at least 5 of us that were going, and the plan was to go first to London, then to Paris, then to Berlin, then to Moscow, and then to Tokyo, to see if we could work out one security, at least I was there for security, with the local law enforcement, because everybody's got different little ideas, you know, and would they allow me and my people to carry weapons? That was one thing. Next thing was, where could we hold one of these? Nobody seemed to have big enough buildings that we could put 12, 15, 30,000 people inside an arena. Elvis hated, yes, there were a lot of football fields and those kind of arenas that you could have, but Elvis hated very much because the sound in an open arena was terrible. It never met his criteria. And that was one of the biggest things that Elvis was concerned about, because he wanted the crowd, you fans, to be able to hear the music the way he knew you wanted to hear it and he wanted to give it to you. And it's impossible to do that in an outdoor arena. There was absolutely, first people say the Colonel couldn't go. My information is that yes, the Colonel could have gone, but it didn't matter because the Colonel didn't have to go. These would be 1-day or 2-day situations. The other big problem was, it's maybe a year ahead. How do you know what the weather is going to be like if you have to play an outdoor arena? If it's raining or snowing or freezing, how do you handle that? These were all things we were beginning to look at. But yes, Elvis wanted to go overseas. That's one reason he bought the Lisa Marine. Because if we had to stay in a place where we couldn't make the right hotel accommodations or anything, Elvis could stay on board the Lisa Marine. Our flight crew was tremendous. Carol Bouquier, one time, just to prove what she could do, put together steak and lobster dinner for us all to eat on the Lisa Marine. So all of these things were being looked at and worked at, and Elvis wanted to do it. That was why he bought the Lisa Marine. It could make those flights without big problems. So people who think we didn't want to go, there were reasons. You know, Elvis, you could get into a smaller arena with our band and our group, which is about 60 people, just roughly at different times. But the cost to do that is not going to fit into the $17.50 ticket that Elvis finally let us move up to. When Humperdinck and Jones were doing $35 and $40 tickets. Elvis had a fit, and we had to really argue with him to raise it from $15 to $17.50 on a tour that never happened. You've got to then move up because you got a big cost if you're flying a plane over there. You got 60 people you got to put up in hotels and so forth. You know, you're not going to get away with 2,000 seat arena at $17.50 a ticket. Not going to happen. So you had to be very careful. It was not something you could just snap your fingers and do, but it was being considered. And it would have been also a kind of a small change in Elvis's scheduling, taking him away from doing these long tours, you know, and doing 14, 15 days steady without a break. And he was the only person that does it. You look at the people today that do these, they'll do 2 or 3 big cities, and then they don't have anything. So they have everybody sit down for 2 or 3 days, and then go on when they get to the next city. They don't get paid for those 2 or 3 days that they're not sitting down. So, you know, there were a lot of concerns, but it was not that the colonel didn't want him to go. And I was there when, I would happen to be present when the colonel and he had talked, and that's when the decision was made that Jerry Weintraub and Tom Hewitt, who were Management 3, would put together with some of the colonel's people and some of Elvis's people to go over and look at these areas and try to figure out different things. When it would have happened, I don't know. The point is, it never did happen. It won't.